and shocked because it just wasn't a thing, you know. I'm pretty sure you can relate to, Ash. I'm sure you've been in it for a very long time. Real estate was one of the jobs that you just could not do from home at all for many, many years. 9 to 5:30. There was no, for me and my experience, there was really no flexibility at all. It was purely 9 to 5:30 job. And then over the years, you have seen that people are so busy now that they can't even get to the office anymore. People, there is no such thing anymore like as in office meetings. And from my experience the last few years, again, I'm sure everybody's got different experiences, but I have managed to onboard and cold call and go through the pipeline, convert everything via phone or Zoom if we wanted to meet in face to face. Everything can be done. Relationships can be built. And again, just going back, we don't need to meet in person anymore. And I think that you can relate, as in, there's a lot of businesses now that don't even have an office anymore. And they are just as successful as ones that do have an office. And I know it still happens, but again, from my experience, when we started going the BDM route, I was very surprised in how many I was actually starting to onboard. So then that experiment with that agency is what made me start this business. So now we've started it 2025, working with a few clients. It's just been such an exciting ride. I'm also working with a agency that's in a different state, and I have helped this company build their rent roll from the ground up, and it's just amazing. It's just such a great accomplishment. And I think that, again, just so many things can be done from home. I've built the most amazing relationships just from the phone, from Zooms and all of that. Um, and I guess having this experience of 15 years of property management obviously really helps as well. So what I'm offering to businesses is basically that is if you want an experienced person and you don't have time or you don't have the finances to hire somebody full time or permanently or having to pay them superannuation and tax and all of that, you can use our services. There is no minimum or maximum hours that you need to appoint us for. One of our clients uses us for 3 hours a day, and they are a very small company. So, the director's not wanting to hire someone full time or part time at this point in time. They just need someone to basically create the foundation of their BDM department, manage their inquiries, manage the CRM system, manage the email marketing, just things that property managers and other staff members don't have time for. And I think just traditionally speaking as well, if you look at real estate offices, again, you know this very well, not a lot of agencies have BDMs and they're getting their property managers to do it all. So, and a lot of property managers don't actually like to do BDM. So it's more of a sales agent thing. So this is another reason why it's good. We bring something really good to the table because we are a team of BDMs. I'm an experienced BDM and property management. So I've got that sales part of me that enjoys doing the BDM, but I've also back it up with the property management experience as well. And a lot of property managers don't like to do it. And from my experience and meeting a lot of property managers out there, I know that a lot of them are time poor or just don't like doing it. So there are a few reasons why I think that what we have going on is pretty good, and it can help a lot of different agencies that are just brand new, and again, just wanting to use our services for an hour, 2 hours a day, just to create that department, filter through their inquiries and CRM system, and they can trust that they're going to be having someone experienced as well. So that's another thing too. We're gonna be hitting the ground running with experience. So yeah, I think that was a lot, wasn't it?
That was a lot. And oh my God, I don't even know where to start because I've got so many questions for you. And I want to also ask questions that might be what people would say as a negative, and I just want to like squash those ideas. Okay, so
Yeah.
hopefully I'm not hitting you with anything too hard, but there's just
No,
I want to
please.
make sure that people get a full picture of it. So we've got a mutual client, and you and I, and you are perfect for what they need. They've got a very small rent roll. They have you coming in to support, and it's ideal because they have a fantastic database. So I would assume that you are working that database.
Yeah.
So I know personally that I very rarely go out and do appraisals these days because we're very much doing borderless property management. Borderless investing, sorry. So we've got a lot of investors that aren't even in our location buying properties, and that's making up such a high portion of investors. Therefore, we don't get the opportunity to meet them. However, if there's somebody listening and they say to you, okay, but what happens if someone does want to meet someone in person? What would be the process for that? What would you do?
So in our journey so far, we are very close to the people that's working in the office with my other colleagues, such as the director and the property managers. Our mutual client has a senior property manager there, as you know. I know you're working with her as well. So I am very close with her, and we work hand in hand. So when I am dealing with new prospective landlords, clients, I am introducing us as a team, as in myself and the property manager. So it's creating that team that will be working with them. So it's when I'm saying I try to do everything on the phone, online, all of that. But if they are wanting to meet in person, that's when I would be letting the property manager meet them. We have done Zoom calls as well. So when they're in the office with the property manager, I would be on the Zoom call as well, just to keep it connected. But yeah, the answer to that is just being close to who is on the ground and just keeping it making sure that you're saying that right from the start. So it's not like, oh, you're just dealing with me and then, oh, can I meet you in the office? Oh, yep, Sam will be there, but you haven't mentioned Sam. So right from the start, I'm mentioning that we are a part of a team. We are a team.
So, if there was an office that didn't have a property manager and wanted to start from scratch, would you recommend that they get the property manager in first so that that base person is there and then complement it with you? Would that be a recommendation?
Yes, I would. Yes, definitely. It's always good, especially if we're dealing with people that are on the ground and around, then of course that we would be working as a team. So whether it's them meeting them first or me electronically, then yes.
My next question is if we've got an office that is well established with let's just say they've got a portfolio of 300 and they've got a BDM, have you are you currently working with, or do you see opportunity with you coming in as a second BDM to maybe work the database or the cold calling? Because I'd imagine a large portion of your workload and marketing and lead gen would be the cold calling of the
Yeah.
database. And I know that there's like so many BDMs, me included, that doesn't like the cold calling, and I like sort of that the social media side of things. So would it be fair to say that you would be able to complement and help create a team of BDMs, making sure you're capturing that as well? Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you would use our services as to the best as possible. If you've got a BDM in-house, we want to see that BDM going out, meeting people, doing those appraisals and stuff. So we would be able to do all the back end stuff. Cold calling is something that we do every single day. I know I've heard many people say that cold calling is dead, but it is absolutely not dead. Not from my experience, and I'm sure that you would
Yeah.
say the same as well. But yes, we can definitely work with a BDM team in the office as well, one or more staff.
So you could sort of be ultimately like a lead generator, so just
Yep,
nurturing the leads in the back end and
yep,
then and passing them over. If there is a
correct.
BDM who is needing just the admin support, so they're just needing they're converting, but they want support with just the paperwork and all of that, is that something that you do, or is that not part of the services?
No, it's definitely something that we do. We do anything to do with BDM. At the moment, we're helping with email campaigns and marketing marketing, social media, managing the inquiries, the pipeline. So any aspect of BDM, we can handle and manage.
Amazing, because I am finding personally, like with my clients, that the pain point that they're experiencing is really that database nurturing.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I find that just the regular emails, maybe the workflows, the newsletters, and it's not that it's hard, it's just that it's not a priority
Time.
to them, and it's a
Yeah.
time thing, and then they
Yeah.
question what they send out. So I feel like that would be pretty amazing,
Yeah.
if there's someone that's listening that is not doing that. And this is so bad, and I'm displaying my flaws here, but so we've had our business for 20 years come February, and we've got this massive, massive database. It's got like 50,000 people on it. I think I've now got that down to 43,000 on purpose, because we have not done anything with that
Mm.
database. So we recently migrated over to the Phoenix, which is the Property Me CRM. So we're using that one, and I have been sending out emails with the intention that I want people to unsubscribe if they're old,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
I've had them on for so long.
Yep.
And I am only just, after 20 years in business, paying attention to my database, and I am okay with sending out emails and newsletters and all of that. But what I find is that I'm really inconsistent. So it's one
Mm.
of those things that I'm just doing when I remember, when
Yeah.
I've got that spare time. It's never anything that we're prioritizing. And it's great to know that you do it, because me
Yes, this is
personally,
where we come in. This is the service that we provide.
and,
We
and,
do
and
all of those aspects, and we have our own procedures and processes in place to manage this. So we are very excited to say that this is something that we can help all agencies do all
right.
those little nitty gritty things that you don't have time for, but at the same time, you don't want to palm it off to a junior or, because I find that a lot of these emails and phone calls and all of that, you need experience. So
Yeah.
that's a really big thing. I think that's where another really good point of what we do is the experience behind us is what really helps, because you can appoint a junior to do things like that, but if they don't understand property management and all of that, then yeah, it could be hard.
Yeah, and I feel like it would be a little bit more difficult for like an offshore person to also do it,
Yeah,
because they just don't have that same understanding of the market,
that's right.
and information you need to do. So yeah, the questions I'm asking are purely selfish, so I know when the time comes
Please
along.
ask.
Because I've got an intention to really build a team of BDMs, and
Mhm.
they don't necessarily need to be in Perth. Like, the team of
Yeah.
BDMs can all serve a purpose. And so that's why I really, really am drawn to your services. Can you provide some thoughts on people that would say or ask a question, well, if you're working with lots of officers, how do you remember, or how do you make sure that you are BDMing with their point of difference and all of that? How does that work?
Well, at the moment, we're working with two clients at the moment, and the way we separate things, I guess it's just based on relationship and being really organized. We've got, certain times and block out times for each client. I've got a very good relationship with both officers. Both officers work very differently as well. We've got one that's just very different and the other one very different. So I guess it's just being really hands-on and involved with the office, and knowing what their style is and doing it the way that they're doing it, and separating that from obviously the other office. We work and plan. We make individual plans for each agency, for each client. So and we execute it accordingly. So it's very separate. Each client would be very separate.
And then how would you work, I guess, down the track? This will come up, but how will you work down the track with areas? And of course, it's probably, would it be fair to say you'd have to have zones for each office, or would it be their database is their database, so it doesn't actually really matter?
We haven't crossed that line yet. We
No.
haven't got there yet, but obviously, all details are very privacy. We're very strict on privacy and confidence. So any data that we handle is strictly in confidence. We haven't quite crossed that path yet about getting a client in the same zone. But I would be very upfront and honest with, when it comes to that point. I would definitely see how that agency feels about that, and we would create a plan accordingly. I would definitely not share each other's clientele.
Mm.
So yeah, look, I think that database, just strictly that database would be the best way to
Yeah.
separate it. But
Yeah, I
again,
think
just
so as well.
honestly as well, if I get a client and they're in the same area as client A, I would tell them. If they're uncomfortable, then of course I wouldn't push it. Honesty,
Yeah.
transparency is always the best way.
Australia is a big place, you'll be fine.
It is. So far, so good. So, look, if we do take off and we do get that, I'll definitely cross the bridge where,
It comes.
when it comes to it. But I've worked in areas, and we all know that there's a lot of food. There's a lot to eat. So, there's lots of properties out there and lots of agencies in the same area. So we would work the same way.
Yeah, excellent. Now, I want to touch on the future of BDMing. It's something that I've been thinking about for all roles, for property manager, leasing consultants, BDMs, and I've really been thinking a lot about what the future roles look like. So, traditionally, we've got BDMs or BDMs in offices that traditionally, do their social media. Maybe they do their database, they do their letterboxes. Do you, and I guess I'm just sort of thinking out loud, but if I think about the BDM role as it's been in the last 5, 10, 20 years, I don't know if it's really changed a lot. I feel
Mm.
like it's sort of the same. Do you have any like random out of the world ideas of what you think the future of a BDM in an office would look like?
Wow. Look, I think what we're doing is going to be the next step, to be
I
honest.
agree.
I, you know, Business owners can save so much money with having remote staff or, appointing our services. And I do think that remote is the future. Remote BDM is the future, having someone on ground for physical appointments, but remote is the way to go. And utilizing things like social media and all the platforms that we're all on, uh, that's the future.
It's ultimately no different to having a BDM work from home. Like it's the same
I
thing, isn't
agree.
it?
I agree. I've proved that in my journey, in our journey, we've proved that that's exactly the case. And I haven't really met somebody. I haven't lost business because I haven't been in person. And I'm
No.
not to say that I won't, but my journey so far, I have not lost business due to not being there in person. So that says a lot.
But it wouldn't even be a conversation. People would just assume that you're in
You're
the
there.
office.
That's
Yeah.
right. You're there. And that's just going back to what I was saying is I introduce myself as a team. So
Yeah.
I'd be talking about the colleagues that I work with and who I'm working with and the director and where our office is if we do have one. Um, so that gives them that feel as in, that we're there, the presence. It gives them the feel of presence is what I was trying to
Yeah.
say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So and another thing is, well, with experience too, when a lot of conversations that we do have with clients, a lot of the conversations are about property manager management. So being experienced, we easily talk about that. So, when landlords aren't happy about maintenance or, court hearings or rent arrears or whatever it is, it's something that I can answer we can answer those questions with. Whereas if you were to appoint someone that doesn't have experience, that's where the point of difference would be.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how much the role can change apart from having, the remote, but I do feel like officers, what we'll see in the future is officers creating teams of BDMs. And I think that we either have officers that don't have a BDM, and like you
Mm.
said before, they have their property management team doing it. And the second option is that you've got offices that just have one BDM, and that's just normal
Yeah.
office, one BDM, and that's it. And I am a huge believer, and I am working towards it, but creating a team, because the return on investment, and I absolutely believe the BDM's wages and investment
Mm.
is really, really good. And I think that I just don't know, why we create sales teams, but we don't create BDM teams,
Yeah.
because ultimately a BDM could potentially be bringing sales leads. And I feel like the BDM role will probably eventuate into more of that lead generation,
Yeah.
but for the office. So it'll be
Yeah.
lead generation for sales and property management and any services that someone needs. It might even be for finance, if they need a mortgage broker or settlement
Yeah.
agent. Basically, they're that
Yeah.
network person. I feel that they could even potentially be appointment setters. So that could
Yeah.
be something, that's something a remote BDM
Yeah.
could do, or you
Yep.
like someone like yourself, where they
Yep.
just set appointments for the team,
Yeah.
and keep the BDM accountable with appointments in their diaries. We
Yeah.
don't tend to have a lot of appointment setters in real estate, and I
That's
think
true.
that
Yep.
we will probably get to that point where we do. And appointment setters absolutely don't have to be local to the office.
No.
They're wherever. And I think even going as far as like appraisals and all of that, I have done appraisals through like FaceTime, where the
Yeah.
client
Yep.
has
Same.
actually FaceTimed
Yeah.
me through the
Yep.
property.
Yep.
And only a couple, and it was because maybe they were working late and they wanted an 8 o'clock time. And I'm like, listen, I
Yeah.
can't come out at 8, but do you want to do FaceTime?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they've done it. So when people realize that that's an option, and I guess where
Mm.
property management businesses can start now is by offering FaceTime appraisals, so that then owners or investors don't have to have the inconvenience of someone coming through. They probably don't feel like they've got to clean the house, even though they don't clean the house before someone comes through. They can do it at any time that suits
Yeah.
them. And then they only need to really block out probably 15, 20 minutes as opposed to maybe an hour if someone
Yeah.
came out.
Yep.
But the thing is that even though most people would be happy to do a FaceTime appraisal, because it's not marketed as an option, people don't know that
That's
that
right.
is an option.
But it's
And
getting there.
it's
It's
getting there.
getting there, and that is
I'm,
the future.
I'm coaching myself as I'm talking, thinking that's a
Yep.
good idea. I need to
Yep.
be doing that more. And I think that would be a step in the direction of the next stage, which is
Yep.
going to be beneficial for you
Yeah,
and
for
what you're
sure.
offering as well. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, if someone could do a FaceTime, that would be perfect. FaceTime through the property.
And I actually have done a few.
Yeah,
So it's very beneficial.
yeah. Otherwise, apart from that, I don't know. Or, I mean, of course, like property management's going into that advisory role, so that's sort of a little bit different. But yeah, very much lead gen, marketing, appointment setter role.
Yep.
I feel like it's what the BDM's going to be. So
Yep.
I think you'll be able to create a big team in no time, because it's going to
Yes,
be
I'm
the
very
norm.
excited. I am so excited about it, and just the small success that we've already proved so far has it's just been so exciting. So I do definitely want to get more clients out there and spread the
Yeah,
word here. I think we can help any kind of agency, big or small.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to make unique plans for the next season of clientels.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see, yeah, how you go. So I'll just sort of recap from a business point of view. So you've got offices where they've maybe got the one property manager, but maybe don't have the finances to bring on
Hmm.
the BDM just yet, an
Hmm.
in-person BDM. So using Natasha to help with that, with the support of the property manager, is a great ideal situation. For offices that maybe have 200-300 properties, have one BDM already in place, but they do maybe again don't want to invest in a second BDM. Or the other thing we find is that sometimes our existing BDM is not wanting to bring on another BDM because it can potentially mean that their commission is going to reduce because of, you know,
Yes.
another person in the office.
Yes.
If that's the case, you would be ideal to bring in to help create the appointments, the lead gen, and keep the momentum going as that BDM that's already in the office is getting busier with appointments and leads, to be able to bring in more over and above, which maybe then would allow the office to see, oh, now we've got room to bring in a second BDM and still have you in the back end, really holding them accountable with opportunities.
Yep.
And then you've got then the next tier would be sort of more of the larger agencies, where they've got maybe 500 or 1,000, but they're not actually doing their database very well.
Yeah.
So their email newsletters, personalized blogs or educational content out. Maybe it could be doing educational content just to their existing
Yeah.
database,
Yeah.
existing owners as well that they already manage. I think that that would be really good. And then probably as we get to offices that are 1,000, maybe not 1,000 plus, maybe like 1,500, 2,000 plus, those people probably would bring in an in-house marketing person or something like that. But there would still be benefit with
Yes.
you doing the lead gen in the back end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to showcase that timeline of ways that your services could be used in different ways to match the size of your business. So that's my, have I done that right? Do you reckon?
You have. I
Yeah,
loved every part of that. So yes,
great.
absolutely.
Amazing. Now, what's the best way for people to get hold of you?
Look, so you can attach my email address.
Yeah,
So Natasha at mybdm.com.au. We've got our website, www.mybdm.com.au.
easy to remember.
Yes, we have Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
Amazing. Well, I really appreciate your time. I love what you're doing. I'm so excited that you're working with one of my clients at the moment, and really look forward to seeing how you go with all the services and how it can help so many offices as well. So well done, and
Thank
thank
you
you for your
so
time.
much.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ash. Thanks for having me.